guys, my name is Lyssy and welcome to my Draw My Life video. So it all started in California, December 10th of 1998. That was when I was born. My mom was super happy because I was her first baby, but I never unfortunately met my dad and he was never a part of my life. My mom decided to name me Alyssa, first name after a flower called alyssums, and Noel because I was born in December and Noel means Christmas in French. Ever since I was a little girl, I absolutely loved painting. I could never really get a paintbrush out of my hand, and I just loved doodling and drawing our pets, and I just was always drawing or making something. Also, ever since I was little, I always loved doing sports. I remember one of the first sports my family put me in when I was little was actually soccer. I remember, however, when I thought I scored my first goal, I actually ended up scoring for the opposite team's goal, and that was pretty embarrassing. The other sport I got involved in as a child was actually softball, and my grandpa actually coached my softball team, which was really awesome because my grandpa was a really great coach. I remember very specifically my grandpa always threw these really awesome team parties for the teams he coached, and he decided to have our first team party at this awesome pizza place, and that's actually where I saw an arcade for the first time ever. I remember walking up to a claw game and thinking, whoa, that is the neatest thing I've ever seen. It was so colorful and I was really excited, so I actually put a token into it and I wanted to play it. But however, I didn't know that I was too short to actually see into the claw machine, so I didn't even know how to really play it because I was too short. So I just ended up pushing the button and I actually won a plush bear on my first try ever. I was so shocked. I still very vividly remember exactly what this bear looked like. It was purple with orange and it had a little witch hat because it was a Halloween themed bear, and I was obsessed with it. I remember that after I won it, I literally would bring that bear everywhere with me. Like, it was always in my hands. It was my favorite plush. Until one day, I was running around my house and I couldn't find my bear anymore. I actually made a name for him called Bear Bear, so I remember like running around screaming, "Bear Bear, where are you?" And I was just so sad. And well, eventually you could say I ended up finding Bear Bear, but the situation was a little bit stuffy. And as you can see here, our dog really did like playing with stuffed animals, and that was sadly the end of Bear Bear's life. I remember I even threw Bear Bear like a little funeral and I cried for like 3 straight hours, and yeah, that was a really hard day for me losing Bear Bear. Anyways, so from that day on, whenever I would come across a claw machine, I always wanted to play it because it reminded me of Bear Bear and because I felt like I had a special gift with them. And eventually I found out I kinda did because I was winning them a lot. Anyways, moving on a little bit forward, one day my mom told me a really big announcement. She told me that she finally found somebody and she was going to be getting married. I was so shocked. Then, before you know it, my mom told me that she was pregnant and that I was going to be having a little sister. And I was so excited because I always wanted to have a sister. However, once she was born, I actually got pretty upset because then I realized I was not going to be the only child. And I kind of got jealous because they were giving her so much attention. I felt like I wasn't as special anymore and I wanted to be the center of attention, so I got sad and very jealous. However, eventually my mom and stepdad decided they wanted to raise our family all the way in Minnesota because he was from Minnesota, so we ended up moving, and I was so sad because I loved Disneyland. It was my literal favorite place ever as a kid, and I also loved the beach because I was always going to the beach, and I didn't know how I was going to live life without those things. However, when I got to Minnesota, right away I kind of liked it because I found a bunch of frogs and they were really fun to play with, so I was outside all the time playing with different animals and wildlife. My parents at the time were very busy raising the newborn baby, aka my sister Krista, and so I actually got used to it and I didn't get jealous anymore because I realized I was going to be a big sister, and I put a lot of my time into artwork because, like I said, I always loved art. And I also put a lot of free time into sports. I actually started playing basketball and I really liked it. However, eventually school had hit me and I was really scared to go to school because, well, it was my first time at a new school and I was nervous. I had no friends and I didn't know anybody. I remember when I first started elementary school, I literally had the hardest time making friends. It felt like everybody already had friends but me. I even got bullied for being the new kid from California, and a lot of kids were really rude to me because I love to draw so much. I didn't understand why I couldn't just fit in, until I finally had art class. That class made school so much better for me. I remember I had one of my first crushes in that art class because he was really good at drawing and he was actually super nice to me. Eventually, me and him became really good friends and we would always type secret messages on our calculators to each other and goof off. And then at recess time, we'd play basketball together and he introduced me to his friends and it was a lot of fun. So most of my friends in elementary school ended up being boys, but that was fine with me because the girls were really rude to me. But that situation didn't make the girls get any nicer to me because they were really jealous that I was hanging out with the boys. They didn't understand and they were calling me ugly because of it. Anyways, let's fast forward 5 years later. So by then I was actually entering middle school for the first time and I was kind of excited for the new chapter in my life, but very nervous. I remember I was always really good at class and usually got good grades, but I was put into a low special math class and kids were really mean to me about it. I was never good at math and I was really embarrassed by it, so I was really insecure and upset that I ended up in that class. I remember whenever the teacher would call on me and ask me like the most easiest question ever, I would just like freeze and sit there and panic and then just respond with, I don't know, because I was so nervous. However, one good thing did come out of this class, and that was when another girl said she didn't get it either, and I was like, well, let's be friends. And that ended up becoming my best friend. We would always goof off in class and make paper airplanes and just laugh the whole time. And obviously not really pay attention to our work, but that didn't matter because she ended up being my closest best friend ever. So as school moved along, I actually started up a new sport, and that sport was tennis. I remember at the time during middle school, I didn't really play as many sports as I used to, and my mom was telling me that I was being too lazy and on the internet too much, so she insisted I take up tennis. During my early 6th through 7th grade, I was obsessed with YouTube. I was constantly watching YouTube videos that made me laugh, and always on the internet either watching YouTube or playing Minecraft or gaming. And then I remember when I had to go to tennis lessons, I was just not excited to get off the internet and actually go outdoors at those given moments. And my coach kind of just taught her daughter the whole time, so I was kind of bored. But then one day my mom gave me a really good incentive and she told me if I made my high school varsity tennis team in middle school, she would actually buy me a dog. So at that point, I knew me being a middle schooler was very hard to make a high school team, so I played a lot of tennis. And then during my 7th grade year of middle school, I actually made the high school varsity tennis team. My family was actually so surprised, but they did have to stick to their promise, which was they owed me a dog, so they brought me to this really awesome pet shop in Minnesota, and I got to pick out my dog. But it was between two different ones, and they were Boston Terrier Chihuahua mixes, and one was really outgoing and the other was super shy, but I asked to see the both of them. One of them was brown with really bright blue eyes, and at first I wanted to get that dog until I realized it had a really bad knee issue that my family couldn't afford to fix. So the shy one in the back that had little freckles was actually Trixie, and I ended up getting Trixie instead of the brown one. And she was super duper shy. She actually hid under a chair the whole time I was meeting her. But I ended up bringing her home, and me and Trixie became best friends for life. It's safe to say the best day of my life was the day I got Trixie. So, moving on. The rest of my middle school life was pretty much just tennis. I played for the Elk River Elks in Minnesota, and my coaches and team meant the absolute world to me. I ended up meeting a boy who played for the boys team, and he and me played tennis a lot, and he ended up being one of my first crushes as well. And my tennis coach at the time actually managed the boys' high school team, and he let me be the manager of the boys' team. I was so shocked because I was only an 8th grader. I remember a lot of the boys in the boys team would always boss me around to go get them water though, and I felt kind of like their personal slave. However though, my crush did play on the team, so that was kind of a bonus. And I also got to manage with one of my friends. However, I remember one specific moment where it was like freezing outside, like 20 degrees, and I was sitting in a tennis skirt and a tennis top, and my crush was next to me in a hoodie, and I was sitting next to my friend, and he actually offered her the hoodie, and she said no thanks, and he didn't offer me his hoodie. And I was so upset by that, because we were texting all the time and hanging out, and he liked my friend over me. Anyways, moving on. Life for the most of it during these times was pretty decent with all my tennis friends and success, but then one day my mom told me that we were gonna move. It was pretty out of the blue, so I was pretty shocked. Plus, on top of all that, I was almost done with middle school at the time, so I had to tell all my friends that I was gonna be moving, and some of them didn't take it very well. In fact, my best friend that I made in math class started to treat me different after I told her. She actually started being cold to me and kind of ignoring me. I was so confused as to why she was being like that, because we were best friends. I kept trying to say hi to her in the hallway, and one time I went up to her during gym class and I said hey, and she actually kicked me out of nowhere. I was so shocked that my only response was to literally hit her back, and that was when I got into my first physical fight. After that, rumors went around the whole middle school about me, and I lost a lot of friends. And things kind of got worse, so I was kind of refreshed to actually be moving back to California to have a fresh start. So when I moved to California, it was summertime, and I was actually pretty sad because I had no friends and knew nobody to hang with. So to keep myself occupied, I actually watched a lot of YouTube, and I actually started making some YouTube videos. I actually started filming some beauty videos, DIY videos, and some art videos. It was really fun. And I also got back into tennis during summer, and I got a new coach who worked me really hard and got me ready for the high school team. And then high school finally approached. And I joined the new tennis team, but the girls on the team were very mean to me. I actually went through the worst bullying of my life during this session. I remember very specifically one day where the whole tennis team sat in a classroom and accused me of things I didn't do. And I said I didn't do it, but nobody believed me. So eventually, once that year of school ended, I dropped out of high school and went homeschooled. Sure, the bullying began to stop, but I was pretty sad that I had no friends and I was always alone. However, my homeschool let me connect to a new tennis team, which was kind of nice because those kids were really nice to me and I got to play for a new team. And I also got to go to arcades during my free time. Even though I didn't have friends, arcades kind of helped fill that void for me. I was going to the arcades so often that I decided to pull out my camera and make YouTube videos about it to show everybody how to win. And eventually I hit 10,000 subscribers. I was really shocked that people liked my videos. Time moved on, and I eventually graduated high school. Life was going great. However, I had some friends at the time, and every time I asked them to hang, they were busy with their boyfriends or school or other things. I was kind of sad because I noticed everybody was going off to college, had boyfriends, had jobs, or was moving far away. At the time, I wasn't really sure what direction I wanted to go in life, so I did decide to go to college, and I ended up getting a boyfriend, but those things didn't really make me happy and didn't work out. I actually hit a really bad low from going to college and dealing with my first heartbreak. So I ended up dropping out of college. And I ended up doing my passion, which was YouTube, of course. Eventually, my channel grew to 100,000 subscribers. I was so shocked. Along the journey, people used to make fun of what I did because I liked playing arcade games on YouTube. People actually started to look up to me when I told them I made arcade videos, and they thought it was really cool. Eventually, the support I got grew more and more to 200k, 300k, 400k, and even more. I even started getting recognized by really sweet supporters in public, and it's just the greatest feeling meeting people that actually like and support my channel. So it's been a few years now since I dropped out of college and have been making YouTube videos full-time for you guys. But I'm so lucky and blessed to have the support of my family, friends, and all of you guys. Sure, there's been some really rough bumps in my life, and times I've felt like giving up and quitting. But remember guys, one of my favorite mottos is after every storm comes a beautiful rainbow. Things really do get easy over time, and sometimes it's hard to see that when you're stuck in the storm. But some of the most important life lessons I've learned in life is to never give up no matter what. No matter who doesn't believe in you or who discourages you, never give up and chase your dreams and never lose hope. Things do get better and times do get easier. I found amazing support through friends, family, church, and God, and I'm incredibly blessed and lucky to be where I am right now. And thank you to everybody who supports and watches my channel. You guys really have changed my life, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. This has been Lyssy, and thank you for watching my Draw My Life video. Never give up on your dreams, guys! Bye!